distinguished members of the South Carolina Board of Education. My name is Linda Motley, and I'm Director of Science and Health at Richland Northeast High School in Richland School District 2, and I currently serve as Chair of the Biology Textbook Review Panel for the state of South Carolina. I've served on several textbook review panels before and have chaired this review panel twice. The selection of instructional materials is a daunting task. Only those individuals who have served on a review panel can understand how much time and energy is put into the process. It is far more than flipping pages and making a decision based on how colorful the textbook is or how many wonderful resource materials accompany the text. The most important part is making sure that support of the academic standards is front and center. Our method of reviewing the text for Biology 1 was very thorough. Our scoring standard was set very high. In fact, because our scoring standard was set very high, there were 3 textbooks that the review panel did not recommend because they fell way short in the whole of supporting the South Carolina academic biology standards. The textbooks that we recommended to this panel back in September far surpass our minimum high standard that we set. The textbook of Biology, 7th edition by Miller and Levine, outscored all of the other textbooks the review panel considered for use in South Carolina in the Biology 1 classroom. Please realize that the scoring was done individually by us during the summer, and only when we met in September did we pull our scores together and discuss each and every textbook. The discussions were detailed and very thorough. Our vote was unanimous, not only on the Miller and Levine book, but the other 16 books that we recommended for Biology 1, Biology 2, and AP Biology. I ask that the board consider that the 11 of us who worked so many countless hours this summer, and I might add for very little pay, in reviewing these texts, consider what we did. The 11 of us collectively have close to, if not more than, 200 years of teaching experience in the biology classroom.
Ms. Marva, that's your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Jerry Walvogel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Jerry Walvogel. I'm a professor of biological sciences at Clemson University, and I too have a lot of experience teaching in the classroom, but that's not my job here today. My job today is to respond as a faculty member of Clemson University to Professor Skipper's response. When his information was given to you at your previous meeting, it was stated that he was a Clemson professor, and when we heard of the nature of his response, my colleagues and I were quite disturbed at the nature of those responses. We are here today not as representatives of the university. We are here as individuals who are practitioners in the field of research and evolution and the teaching of evolution, and we would like to tell you in no uncertain terms that we do not support his critique of Miller's book. We would like to endorse Professor Miller's response to that, and I provided you all with a copy of the letter signed by 130 of my faculty and staff colleagues at the university who unequivocally say that they do not support the critique provided by Dr. Skipper. We would also like to encourage you to provide the students of our state with the best possible educational materials that are available, and we would like to argue that Professor Miller's book is right up there at the top. If you have any questions about this letter, I would be happy to address them later. Thank you.
Thank you, Walvogel. Daryl Shire.
My name is Daryl Shire. I'm an engineer and resident of Columbia. 2 years ago, I stood before this same board and told you the story about my 3-year-old son who loved to turn over rocks and look to see what kind of bugs he could find underneath it. I'm happy to report that this Christmas, he spent the better part of an hour trying out the bug vacuum that Santa brought him. Although he managed to only collect 2 dead spiders on that cold day, he could not have been a happier little man. My point then is the same point I made today. I want to nurture that curiosity of nature and the world. I want him to become a world-class biologist or doctor or engineer like I am. To fulfill that potential, I think he needs a world-class education, using the best textbooks available, taught by the best teachers and professors at South Carolina Campus. These 2 textbooks have been reviewed by dozens, if not hundreds, of boards and panels, and yet we have one individual who comes in and says it's got errors. And I think that's just wrong. We've got to trust these strengths that we have in South Carolina, this wonderful knowledge that we have behind it. I want my son to embrace science, to chew on it and explore it, to better understand the world, to attend the best public schools we have in South Carolina, and go on to my alma mater at Clemson, or USC, or College of Charleston. and to become a scientist and to work for a high-tech company that we brought to South Carolina because we can offer the best and brightest.
You have 30 seconds.
Thank you. And that's why I asked the board to accept these two textbooks, and all textbooks that promote good science. And I repeat what I said 2 years ago, that to do what's best for my sons, all of the sons and daughters in South Carolina and the state of South Carolina.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shire. Is it Tamla Kirkstone? And if I mispronounced your name, I apologize. Yeah, okay, I guess that's a yes, right?
Well, no, I'm kind of used to that. Tamara Kirsching, I'm the science coordinator for Charleston County Schools, and it's nice to be back here, and thank you. And I kind of do have to thank you guys, Superintendent Jim Rex, for putting that slide up, because I remember being here 2 years ago when you guys voted to put the standards in place, those rigorous standards, and the fact that we have an A for our standards, especially our science standards, just speaks volumes about what we can do when, you know, we do put the needs of the children first, which is obviously why we are all here. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. And being number 5 in the nation and having an A for our standards, that speaks volumes. Being from Charleston, we had the opportunity for the first textbook caravan on January 2nd, so I'm going to have to talk to Chris Stewart about the timing of January 2nd textbook caravan, where my teachers and myself were kind of exposed to all the textbooks that had been approved or tentatively approved, and we looked over them, and they were also told at that time that these two textbooks, one of them had been pulled in one of them, the Miller Levine book, which I have here, was still being considered, not official yet, and my teachers were upset. They came to me, I've got letters from my teachers, they said, please go to Columbia, Tammy, we can't do it. I said, okay, twist my arm, I'll do it. And this is from one of my National Board Certified teachers who uses an earlier version of the book. I used an earlier version of the book when I taught biology in high school. And she says it's an excellent book that provides coverage of our South Carolina and national standards in biology. We
30 seconds.
book successfully. Never, ever had a problem with any student, parent, or teacher or administrator taking offense. I think the only dangerous part of this book is if it were to fall from this podium to my foot and then it would hurt. 10 seconds? Okay, well, I did have an analogy, but I'll save that for later if someone has a question. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Vince Connors?
I ceded my time to Dr. Moore.
Okay. That's right, I'm sorry. Oscar Thorsland?